You may have been given the same great advice again and again and never heard it even once. It's because it wasn't yet relevant to you.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward together with the Dekker team.
We are excited to welcome you to Life's Inside Track, episode 742. And I'm Yetta Dekker.
And I'm Ken Dekker.
And it's where we get to share techniques, thoughts, tips, tools, tactics, and truths that we all need, we all deserve. You, I, everyone, so we can turn our house into home, our families thrive, and we build wealth wisely through real estate.
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. So what's that called, Yetta? What's it called when you finally get that epiphany and somebody, you say, oh, that's really wise. And then so another person says, well, I've been telling you that for years.
Or we heard it here. Don't you remember when we heard it at this place and
Right.
we heard it on Life's Inside Track episode 103, not 742. And we've heard it probably 50 times. What do you mean you've never heard it before?
So that's what we're going to discuss.
And that is your reticular activating system.
Your RAS.
Your RAS for short. It has a nickname. I love nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
RAS, R-A-S. And it's a little function in the back of your brain, somewhere in your neck. It's really just at the base of your skull. And it's a function of your brain that actually has you notice only things that are important to you.
Yeah, it's like a filter. Filters out everything else because there are millions and billions of bits of information hitting your eyes and your senses daily. Mm-hmm. And it would overwhelm your brain if it tried to remember them all or say that they're all important to it. So the RAS is a filter.
Right.
And it lets through and into your memory what you tell it is important to you or what it picks up as important to you.
And while we're talking about this, you're thinking, what are you guys talking about this in relation to real estate? Well, here's the thing. We'll share one little story, and this might just help it land for you, what we're attempting to get at. When it comes to investing in real estate or buying your first home or buying your 10th home, doesn't really matter where you are in the journey. When you're not in the process, you may hear something like, even attend a Building Wealth Wisely workshop, which we had in the fall, the last one. And somebody was there at actually the one before that one and heard us say, go get your first time home buyer's account set up. Get it done today, because until you actually register for it, you don't get to start accumulating the $8,500 a year.
8,000.
8,000, sorry. Different program, different time. Anyway, the $8,000, you don't have to put it in last year, but if you don't register for the account, it doesn't start to accumulate to what you can put in next year or the year after when you're actually ready to buy a house.
Yeah, and you just have to be over 18.
Right.
And you can register. You can put like $20 in if you want.
Right.
Gets it started. The $8,000 accumulates year after year to a total of $40,000. Now, the beauty with that program is you can put in $40,000, take it out 2 weeks later and buy a house, and you've got a $40,000 tax reduction, like not tax reduction, but your taxable income is reduced by $40,000, which would probably save you, depends on your income bracket, but anywhere between, probably $5,000 and $20,000, depending on your income bracket. That's a wonderful thing that the government's going to give you.
Right.
And this young gentleman had been to the workshop.
And had enough interest to be there. So this is the interesting thing. Enough interest to be there, and yet couldn't see himself ready because his current salary wasn't such that it was going to allow him to qualify for much. Now, since then, just less than 6 months later, he now has a new position. He's making incredible income, and now he is ready to get ready in the next 60 to 90 days to own his first home.
Yep.
And he'll do it with I'm going to say probably a duplex, because there's so many reasons. Anyway, if you want to get into all the details of it, call us and we'll walk you through a similar scenario. The point being here is, even though he was in the room, even though he was somewhat interested, because he wasn't yet poised or ready, he didn't hear the counsel. And you're thinking, well, so what does that matter? Well, it's going to cost him $2,500 in his scenario in unaccessible saved income tax.
Yep.
Because he waited until this year, when now he had the new position, now it was relevant, and he heard the information again on one of the other Life's Inside Track episodes. He went and he opened the account, and yet just that few days after December 31st made it all of a sudden that he didn't get the benefit of it. So what we want to explore is, how can you, we'll do this more in segment B. Here we want you to understand the concept. How, though, can we set it up so that our brain is interested in something even before we're ready to take action on it?
Mm-hmm. It's a great question. How do we, I was thinking the other day about the Bible, right? The Bible says, seek wisdom. So if you're looking for wisdom, that means your reticular activator is on for wisdom. Likewise, I have a friend who does a lot of real estate investing, and he's constantly finding properties that might have potential as a great investment. And that is because his RAS is turned on for looking for opportunities. Because the other thing is, if you never take advantage of an opportunity, or you think I'll never be able to take advantage of an opportunity, your brain's not going to look for an opportunity.
Nope.
So it's like Henry Ford said, if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you're right. And so, he said it a little bit differently. I paraphrased.
Yeah.
But truthfully, that's what your RAS says. Now, maybe you've bought a car at some point and you thought, oh, that color and that model are pretty rare. And then suddenly when you're driving around, you see them everywhere. That's because your brain has said that's important to you. That color, that car is important to you. And so now you start seeing them. We have the same thing with punch buggies, but we've renamed them because Yetta didn't like getting punched or slapped
every
a little
time
bit.
he saw a beetle.
Slug bug. So now I call them smooch buggies. You heard it here first. I made up this, so you could start it. You could start the trend. I'd be a trendsetter. Look for smooch buggies, Volkswagen bugs, and then give your significant other a smooch every time you see one. My reticulator is on for those. I see them everywhere.
Yep. And I never did see them, and I still don't see them because it didn't matter to me.
You mean the smooch doesn't matter to you?
Well, the slugging, I never liked it. I didn't like giving it. I didn't like getting it. And so I'm so against it that I turned off. So the point here is simply being aware that just because you've heard the same information again and again and again doesn't mean it's actually landed for you. So we want to help you decide what's important to you down in the future. Set yourself up for it today so you can start learning before it's urgent. And that's what we're going to start focusing on in segment B, is how do you set up your reticular activator, not by happenstance or accident, and yet set it up on purpose to work and be your servant.
And that's what our RAS is on for, building wealth wisely, because it's about much more than the money.
So we're going to look at in segment B that once something becomes relevant to you, you don't only just notice it, you see it everywhere, and it sets you up to make great decisions.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward